Under a moonless sky, long before dawn breaks over the Zagros Mountains, the stillness of central Iran feels unnatural. There are no sirens yet, no panic in the streets, just the faint hum of infrastructure and the illusion of control. Then, without warning, that illusion collapses. Instruments buried miles away twitch violently as a concussive force ripples through bedrock. Power flickers. Secure lines drop. Somewhere deep beneath layers of reinforced concrete and stone, a system designed to run invisibly for decades tears itself apart in seconds. This is not chaos by accident. It is timed by design. Within minutes, seismic stations quietly log an anomaly, too sharp, too localized to be geological. Thermal sensors aboard commercial satellites bloom with heat where no heat should exist. At Natanz, Iran's most sensitive nuclear site, something catastrophic has occurred, and the state does not yet understand how or why. By the time officials begin demanding answers, the second phase is already underway. High above Iranian airspace, far beyond the reach of shoulder-fired missiles, unmanned aircraft orbit with mechanical patience. Their presence is never announced. They do not roar or streak across the sky. They simply watch. Data flows through encrypted channels at the speed of light, assembling a living map of the battlefield before most commanders on the ground grasp that a battlefield exists at all. This is not a warning shot. This is a strike aimed at the spine. What unfolds over the next several hours is not merely an attack on hardware or facilities. It is a stress test of an entire regime, economic, political, military, and psychological, applied at the precise moment its internal supports are already cracking. To understand why this single event threatens to cascade far beyond a damaged enrichment hall, you have to step back from the smoke and look at the condition of the state it struck. Iran, at the moment of impact, is not a nation at the height of confidence. It is a system under sustained internal compression. The currency has been hemorrhaging value, sliding toward levels that make everyday commerce a form of survival calculus. On the street, the rial trades at ratios that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Official inflation figures already suggest disaster. Unofficial ones paint something closer to economic suffocation. For basic food items, bread, rice, cooking oil, the real price increases are not measured in percentages, but in lived desperation. This is what prolonged economic warfare looks like. Sanctions have constricted access to hard currency, but the deeper wound is self-inflicted. Vast sums continue to be diverted outward, to militias, proxies, and ideological projects beyond Iran's borders, while domestic infrastructure decays. When a government can no longer stabilize the price of bread, it loses more than purchasing power. It loses moral authority. Against this backdrop, the nuclear program is not just a strategic asset. It is leverage. It is the regime's ultimate bargaining chip, its shield against isolation, its proof of relevance. Damaging it at this moment is not a tactical inconvenience. It is an existential challenge, and the population knows it. Iran is young. More than half its citizens are under 30. They are connected, educated, and acutely aware of how different their lives could be. Years of protests, sparked by economic hardship, political repression, and the death of Mahsa Amini, have already shattered the myth that dissent can be fully contained. The fear barrier has been breached before, and once that happens, it never fully resets. Security forces have held the line, but not without strain. Quiet intelligence assessments point to rising hesitation within lower and mid-level units. Orders are followed, but less enthusiastically. Loyalty, once automatic, now requires pressure. A regime can survive protests. It struggles to survive doubt within the instruments meant to suppress them. Now layer on top of that a successful strike against the most heavily protected project in the country. Invincibility is a narrative. Once punctured, it cannot be patched. Inside the power structure itself, fractures widen. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is often described as a single entity, but in reality, it has evolved into something far more complex and far more unstable. It is simultaneously a military force, an intelligence apparatus, and a vast economic empire. Construction, energy, and telecommunications, entire sectors sit under its influence. This fusion of ideology and profit has created rival camps. On one side are hardline loyalists committed to revolutionary doctrine. On the other are pragmatic power brokers, whose primary concern is maintaining revenue streams and personal influence. When something goes wrong at a site like Natanz, blame is not merely assigned, it is weaponized. A breach of this magnitude implies either profound incompetence or internal betrayal. Both interpretations are dangerous. Ministries leak selectively, files resurface, careers end overnight, paranoia becomes policy. While this internal reckoning begins, the skies tell a parallel story. The aerial balance above central Iran is not symmetrical. It never was. The backbone of American persistence in the region is not a single aircraft or missile, but an integrated system. At the forefront is the MQ-9 Reaper, particularly its latest operational configurations. This platform is not just an observer, it is a fully armed hunter designed to dominate airspace where adversary defenses are limited or fragmented. Operating at altitudes that render many surface threats irrelevant, the Reaper carries a mix of precision weapons capable of striking vehicles, facilities, or mobile launchers within minutes of detection. Its real strength, however, lies in integration. It does not act alone. Supporting it is a layer of high-altitude, long-endurance surveillance capable of watching entire regions without blinking. Sensors scan across spectra, visible, infrared, radar, feeding data into shared networks that allow commanders to see not just where targets are, but where they will be. Every engine ignition, every convoy movement, every radar activation leaves a signature. In this environment, concealment is temporary. Iran's response relies heavily on its own unmanned systems. Platforms like the Shahed 129 and Mohajer 6 form the backbone of its drone force. They are numerous, flexible, and have proven effective against less sophisticated opponents. But here, the gap is glaring. These systems depend heavily on line-of-sight control and comparatively fragile communications links. Their sensors lag generations behind Western equivalents. In a contested electromagnetic environment, their vulnerability multiplies. Once links are disrupted, they become blind, drifting liabilities. This creates an asymmetric kill chain. Detection happens long before engagement. Engagement happens before awareness. By the time Iranian operators realize they are being tracked, firing solutions already exist. Still, numbers matter. A single advanced platform can be overwhelmed by volume if coordination is tight and timing is right. This is where loitering munitions enter the equation, cheap, expendable drones designed to saturate defenses, individually crude, collectively dangerous. While planners account for this aerial chess match, the true shockwave emanates from underground. Seismographs do not lie. Later analysis confirms a secondary tremor originating precisely at the Natanz complex, not from an external blast, but from within. This detail changes everything. There is no evidence of large penetrator munitions, no crater fields, no radar tracks suggesting a conventional bombing run. Instead, evidence points to internal destruction. The most plausible mechanisms converge on sabotage, either cyber-enabled or physical. The target is not the facility itself, but the machines inside it. Advanced centrifuges are exquisitely sensitive systems. Their tolerances are measured in microns. Their stability depends on precise control of rotational speed, power supply, and vibration damping. Manipulate those parameters, and the machine becomes its own weapon. By feeding false data to monitoring systems while subtly pushing rotors beyond safe limits, a cascade can be forced into resonance. Carbon fiber components, spinning at extreme velocities, disintegrate. What follows is not a clean shutdown, but fragmentation. Metal and composite shards ripping through adjacent units, releasing corrosive uranium hexafluoride gas and destroying entire cascades in seconds. This is not theoretical. It has precedent. The distinction between older centrifuge models and newer ones is critical. Legacy machines enrich slowly. Modern variants multiply output by an order of magnitude. Destroying them does not just delay progress, it rewinds it. Before this event, assessments suggested Iran's breakout timeline. The window required to produce enough weapons-grade material for a single device had shrunk to days. With advanced cascades offline, contaminated and physically destroyed, that window stretches dramatically. Repair is not just a matter of replacement. Specialized materials are sanctioned. Manufacturing is slow. Expertise is rare. Time, suddenly, is no longer Tehran's ally. But regimes under pressure do not simply absorb setbacks. They react. With the nuclear option temporarily blunted, attention shifts to conventional leverage. Orders propagate outward through encrypted channels to allied networks beyond Iran's borders. In southern Lebanon, dormant units begin to stir. Launch crews reposition. Storage sites open. This is deterrence by proxy. Pressure applied without direct fingerprints.